Welcome back, everyone. This video is on how I make my cowl. It's just the right size to wear either one big loop around your neck tucked into your jacket or twice around your neck for extra warmth in that area, or you can wear it around your neck and over your head, which makes your ears and your head warm also. The pattern is free on my website. It's right there. It's called the Knitted Lacy Eyelet Cowl. To find it, you go to stitchniche.com. On any web browser, it will take you to this page. When you see this page, you would click on the word shop. Once you click on the word shop, you have your options on this page. You can either click on the yarn and you go to search and type in Bouffle, B-O-U-F-F-L-E. I'll show you that. And it'll take you to the actual yarn, or tap on the word patterns, go back to the search and type in the word cowl, C-O-W-L, and it'll bring you right to this pattern, and it's a free download. Okay, we're just going to touch on each of the individual aspects of it, and then I'm going to get into other aspects of it too. Now, the Bouffle yarn is really neat. It's a boucle. It's very light and airy. It has little slubs in it like this one that kind of sticks out a bit, and it has different variations in the color. I have it in 10 shades. I'll show you the different color choices once we've completed the video. So when we start out, it's either use a 24 or a 29-inch circular needle. I made that correction on the pattern in a size 13. That's what gives you that light, lofty feeling. You cast on 100 stitches, and you would join them together, being careful not to twist the stitches, and place the marker. So we're going to do that first. I have that right here. Let me move the pattern off to the side so we can actually see the yarn. Okay. Now what I do is I cast on 101 stitches. The reason for the 101 is I found a way to connect the two together without seeing the join or seeing like a staggered effect. This is just a small abbreviated version, so bear with me with this. I just don't want to spend a lot of your time knitting unnecessarily. So after you do your 101 stitches, you slide your first stitch from your left hand needle. It's like a bind off. Pick up your last stitch on your right hand needle and slide it over the first one. And now that locks it in place. You can tug on it a little bit, but now you're joined. Then you place your marker, and then you would begin knitting. Because the first round, I'll bring this back down. The first round is knit, which everybody knows how to do. So I'm not going to knit the whole thing, but I just want to kind of get you started. It's just the basic knit stitch. Insert your needle in the front of the loop, yarn over, and then pull it back through and take the yarn off your needle. And you do this all the way around until you get back to the marker, like I'm right about here. So then I'm almost to the marker. So then you would continue knitting till you got to your marker. And then once you get to the marker, you slip the marker. And that's the end of round one. Then you go to round two, which is purl. Now, if you continue knitting and knitting and knitting in the round, it looks like stockinette stitch. So if you want the garter effect, you have to bring the yarn to the front and actually purl. And that will give you the purl ridge. Now, this yarn is so fluffy, you really don't see a lot of this texturing, but it helps keep the item flat and not curling up because the whole inside is done in stockinette. So you just keep purling. So you got the bumps in the front and you purl all the way around. Once you get to that point, and you repeat it, like it says here, rounds 3 and 4, repeat 1 and 2, which means you knit another round and purl another round, and then you knit a round. And that's where I'm here. I've got the knit, there's the purl, there's the knit right there, the purl, and the last round of knit. So when you get to the next section, which is the body, you would knit an additional round, which I've already done. That's how come it looks a little bit deeper. At this point, we're going to start our actual texture design, which is a yarn over, knit 2 together, and just repeat this all the way around. Because it's 100 stitches, it'll come up even. So let's go ahead and get this last stitch done. Now I'm not going to do the whole round, but I want to give you an idea of how it works. And I'm using a non-fluffy yarn to make it easier to see. So you knit 2 together, Oh, I did it backwards. I'm sorry. Should read my own directions. I have to yarn over first. So I do yarn over, knit 2 together, and there's your pattern. Let's do it again. Yarn over, knit 2 together. And I've done it twice now. Just keep repeating this. Yarn over, knit 2 together. Just keep working around the needles. Yarn over, knit 2 together. Now after you've done this completely around once, you'll be back to your stitch marker. And at that point, you're just going to knit 2 rounds. And that's pretty straightforward. So I'm not going to bother knitting the 2 rounds. Instead, I'm going to jump ahead. Now see here, I've got the yarn over, knit 2 together. That's the holes. And there's my 2 rounds of knitting. So the next section is you knit 2 together and yarn over. The reason for doing that is it kind of staggers your holes so they're not lined up perfectly even. They're just slightly offset. So let's go back to this one. Oh, I haven't finished this one yet. This is just plain knit. So I got to knit the last few stitches. Now these are being done on a little bit smaller needle, but I wanted to make it easier for you to see what I was doing. So let's get all the way to the end. Slip my marker. Now we're going to knit 2 together and yarn over. Like I said, we're doing just the opposite. So we're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and keep doing this all the way around. As you can see, the hole is slightly offset from the first hole, and that's what you want. All right, so now we're going to really jump ahead. Now this one I didn't do that with, and as you see, it's almost lines up perfectly. Well, it's slightly off-centered, but not much. So that's why I have you do yarn over, knit 2 together on round 2, but yet knit 2 together, yarn over on round 5. And then round 6, you just knit, and then you repeat rounds 1 through 6 of the body 3 more times. And so that means you start back up here with knit 1. The reason I have a knit 1 up here and a knit 1 down here is that's the 2 rounds of knit, which you see right in between the other pattern. So that gives you that extra little bit of spacing. Okay, so after you've completed all this, now if you want it wider, like I said, mine are 8 inches wide, which covers the head really nicely. But if you want it wider than the 8 inches, you can always repeat it a 5th time. I'm not going to repeat it the 5th time. Instead, I'm going to go over here and just talk you through this. It's the same thing. Round 1 of the top edge, it's the same as making this bottom border, is you would knit around, purl around, repeat it, and then finish with a knit round. Now this is where the fun part comes in. Let me pull this back a bit so you can really see. Let me get this out of the way for the moment. Now if you do a standard bind off, as you can see, there's not much stretch, but at the bottom you have a whole lot of stretch because when you cast on, it seems like you get a little more of a cast on edge. Now if you cast on tight, a standard bind off, which is tight, will work for you. But if you're trying to do one that has a very loose bind off on the top as well as the bottom, like this one is very loose on the bottom and the top is very loose also, that way they both stretch evenly. There's a different type of a bind off we're going to do, and I wrote it down here. This is called bind off loosely. Now if you want to watch it actually being done other than on my video, I do have a YouTube video out there. It's called bind off regular, loose, and very loose. And if you go to that one, you're going to see what I'm doing here. Now I'm doing the middle bind off, which is the loose bind off. Sometimes when I do the loose bind off, it's looser than my very loose bind off. I don't know why, it just happens that way. And other times the very loose bind off is looser than my loose bind off. I guess it's maybe because of the yarn, or maybe because of the way I'm doing it, or how late at night it is. But you can use any of these 3 bind offs. It shows you in the video what they look like. Okay, let's go to here. I've already bound off quite a bit of it. So I'm going to go on, let's see. I'm blank. Oh, I know what I did. Okay. I slid this over here so I wouldn't lose it. Let me get it back. This was my last bind off stitch. I don't know if this is going to be in the way or not. Okay, to start with, as it says, you knit 2. Well, to start with, I've knitted 1, and there's 2. You want to have 2 stitches on your needle. The next thing you're going to do is slip the 2 stitches back to the left needle and knit them together. So you can actually slip them back if you like and knit them together. And then the next thing is to knit 1, and then you do your bind off and knit 1 again. So we're going to knit 1, bind off, knit 1 again. So that puts me back to the knit 2 because it's already knitted. That's why I've got the parentheses starting at the slip 2 together and not back over here where the knit 2 is. So you can either slip them on the needle like I did, or you can just stick the needle in like that and bind them off. Both ways work. Both ways are the same. It's just one less little step. Knit 1, bind off. So we do it again. Knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, bind off. And you just complete this all the way around. Knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, bind off. Like I said, you can always do the slip 2. After you put the 2 on the needle, you can slip them both back over onto the left-hand needle if you want and knit them together. You can either knit them this way, which will twist them. I just knit them through the back loop so it does not twist them because I like mine to lay nice and flat. I have trouble binding off doing this one this way. That's why I leave mine on my right-hand needle. That's just my choice. Knit 1, bind off. And as you see, it looks a little bit different than a standard bind off, but that's what gives you the extra stretch. See how much stretch I got here? Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea how to actually do the whole pattern. And if you look at this one that's completed, you can almost see the knits and purls here, because there's the ridge in between, and there's all of the eyelets, and there's the ridges again, because we repeat the ridges here and here to give you that nice finished look. And with that bind off, you get the really neat stretch. Now the colors I have available are the red Bouffle, and it's spelled B-O-U-F-F-L-E. You don't have to do the little apostrophe sign. It's just the way they write it up. So they have it in red, or I carry it in red. I have a tan color. I have black. I have a really pretty teal. I like this one so much. And a lavender. Now I haven't got my lavender one finished, but this is what it looks like. It also comes in a nice tan color. And this burgundy is really, really yummy. I do like it. And of course we have a gorgeous royal. And it also comes in a light brown and black. So I've got 10 different shades here that the Bouffle comes in. And as long as I have them at my store, they'll be available. My normal sale price is $6.75 plus shipping, but I've got them on sale right now on my website at $6 a piece. So basically, instead of paying the $6.75 plus shipping, you pay the $6 in shipping, and you're saving 75 cents, or putting that 75 cents towards your shipping. If you like my videos, please subscribe, hit notification, and definitely like it, so the next time I make another video, you will be one of the first ones to see it. I'll show you the pattern one last time. I call it the Knitted Lacy Eyelet Cowl. Thank you for watching.